Welcome to VGK Today, presented by MGM Rewards, a daily podcast bringing you an inside look at the Vegas Golden Knights' 2023 Stanley Cup playoff run. I'm Justin Russo with the Golden Knights on Wednesday, May 17th, and the VGK are hard at work preparing for the Western Conference Final against the Dallas Stars that will begin on Friday at 5:30 Pacific Time from the Fortress. The VGK looking to make their second ever appearance in the Stanley Cup Final, that first year in 2017-18, and looking to get back there in what is now their fourth trip to the Western Conference Final, and second against the Dallas Stars. So let's see if the VGK can defeat Dallas this time around and move on to that Stanley Cup Final. But as you'll hear today, as we have Daren Millard on the show, the VGK getting to this point isn't just about what the players on the ice are doing or the coaches behind the bench are doing. It's an organizational effort to get the team to the spot that they're in right now and to make the experience of watching and listening to the team, both home and on the road, as good as it is for all the VGK fans out there. As you'll certainly know, nobody puts on a show like Vegas, and a lot goes into that, and a lot of people go into making that what it is. And thankfully on today's show, Daren Millard sat down with a couple of those people that make the VGK engine run from behind the scenes.
Thank you, Justin. A blend of hockey talk and discussing the fan experience on the docket for everyone today. Looking forward to hearing Bruce Cassidy's initial comments on the Dallas Stars in the Western Conference Final this weekend. Bruce also offered an update on injured goaltenders Laurent Brossoit and Logan Thompson. We'll get to that in just a little bit. Then we're going to visit with a couple of people who are right in the middle of this Stanley Cup playoff run by Vegas, but their jobs are much more directly related to you, the fan. How does everything you see and experience online and out at the plaza before games at the Fortress really come about? And how do the new items that roll into the arsenal each round happen? What fashionable pieces will be available in the next couple of weeks? Trending. Stephanie Rogers and Maggie Sweeney will hang out with me. Rogers is the VP of Marketing, a big deal in these parts, and I caught up with her in the break room. Let's just say it was a slight mistake on my part, as we were not in a controlled environment for recording purposes. You'll get what I mean in just a little bit. Let's get on to the series, though, with Butch. The Golden Knights will host games 1 and 2 on Friday and Sunday, 5:30 and noon start times. Dallas survived a Game 7 to represent the Central Division. Vegas eliminated the two most dynamic players in the league to follow up a regular season Pacific Division title with the playoff version. Bruce Cassidy admits he sees some similarities from the team they just beat to the one the Golden Knights will face on Friday.
You know, they have a dominant line, whether they play them together or split them up. And Hintz, is probably as close to McDavid as there's left or is going through the playoffs right now. He's having a great playoff, real dynamic player. Pavelski's probably some similarities to Draisaitl and his ability to finish. And I think they look to, that they've been on the power play more than any team in the playoffs in terms of numbers. So they're looking to create those situations. Similar to Edmonton, they rely on that. So we have to be, again, another series where we're going to have to play with discipline, be hard, but disciplined. So going into a series, having some same tendencies can help you just roll into the next series. But I think it's a different animal in how you're going to score goals against them. They just play a different system in the D zone. It's going to be a lot tougher to get to the front of the net or create situations like Marchessault where he's there by himself. When they're man-to-man in Edmonton, it's don't over-support the puck, try to create some confusion, then work your way in, and hopefully you've lost your check, where I think Dallas will do a better job of limiting those net front opportunities when guys are by themselves.
Roope Hintz has scored 9 goals. Joe Pavelski is one back, but scored 4 in one game. Arguably, the top offensive player for Dallas, Jason Robertson, has been limited to a pair. The Dallas lineup arguably has more depth than Edmonton, which will force a tweaked approach by Vegas defending the Stars.
With Dallas, you'll see a lot of 3 high point shots with that high tip and then the net front present. We know that's coming. There's a lot of teams that do that. I mean, we try to incorporate that in our offense. They're just really good at it. So that's an area that, what are we going to do with our middle forward? Are we going to give him the outside, or maybe we protect the middle a little more with him? And that'll be, determine us as we go. We can have the greatest plan on earth going into it, but until you feel it and see it, then you slowly get, through some of those periods where maybe it works against you to make it work for you. That's just what we have to do. So that's what we're anticipating. If we can break out clean, get in at our end, rebound those pucks quickly, then we won't have to deal with that as much. And some of that happened against Edmonton, and the nights we struggled in our end, it didn't. So, I mean, they got good players, and they're going to win some puck battles too. But that's what it's going to come down to is, make sure you defend it well early so you don't have to defend it well the entire shift, if that makes any sense.
Of course, both teams believe they have a book on each other, and they're right. Pete DeBoer coached Vegas for 3 years. He knows the individual Golden Knight players very well. That should be countered, however, by intel assistant coach John Stevens possesses, having been with Dallas last season. Bruce Cassidy pointing out that VGK assistants Misha Donskov and Ryan Craig, who worked with DeBoer, are very aware of his tendencies. So to put it into basic terminology, both sides will have more information to start a series than any normal set. But Game 1 will still serve as the night of learning that always happens to begin a series. One more note for you. Considering we're on the verge of the third round, these two teams are very healthy. The area where Vegas has battled injury in the playoffs was brought up to Bruce Cassidy when he was asked about sideline goaltenders Laurent Brossoit, who started the first 8 games of the playoffs, and all-star Logan Thompson.
We're not anticipating any changes in our goaltending for Game 1, but let's get on the ice tomorrow and I'll give you a better answer. Because LT may be a guy that's now in the equation skating. It's been a while for him. We were away, so he might be a guy that starts to get part of the next phase of his rehab. Like I said, see you tomorrow.
Practice starts at 11 a.m. at City National Arena. The Golden Knights are expected to skate both Wednesday and Thursday before the early start on Friday. All right, we're going to talk about off-ice stuff instead of all the on-ice stuff that everybody more knows about. Here's Stephanie Rogers, Vice President of Marketing, Vegas Golden Knights, my fantasy football league buddy. What happens after Vegas wins in round 2 to getting on the ice from your standpoint?
So from our standpoint, our number one focus is just how do we get the fans excited? How do we ensure that we're having the greatest fan experience possible on the plaza, in T-Mobile Arena, and then all of our watch parties. So our goal is really to help unite the realm. Really, that's our campaign. It's about bringing the fans together. It's about bringing the city together. It's about bringing everybody anywhere that wants to support the Vegas Golden Knights together. And we do that through a variety of ways. We have incredible creative that comes from our brand team, Brady and his entire crew, as you guys see that, day in, day out coming to life. So they're focused on what's the next iteration of this playoff campaign, Western Conference Final, quest for the West as we're facing Dallas, and getting all of those assets ready to go. So you can see them all over your feeds on the social channels and when you're looking for tickets and in your emails and on the website. And then we're also thinking about what's the fan experience, right? So we had the dunk tank out there on the plaza. That was incredible. We've had Revolt tattoos out there every single game. That's been amazing. But what's the next thing? What's the next thing that's going to shine a light on the uniqueness of Vegas, the uniqueness of our fan base, and the uniqueness of this plaza experience that we love celebrating before fans get into the game to cheer on the Golden Knights. So that takes a lot of work by a lot of different people. We're on the phone with a lot of different businesses locally, trying to figure out who wants to be a part of the show, if you will. We also want to make sure that whatever we're bringing to the plaza is free for our fans, because we want to make sure that they get to come without any type of worry or hindrance of having to add another thing to their game day list. So from my side of things, it's just a lot of thinking about what do the fans want and how can we make it the best experience for them.
And that goes into action the minute that game number 6 is put in the bank by Vegas?
Yeah, and actually we start planning a lot of these things a lot further in advance than you think, and sometimes then it's comfortable to start planning when you're in this type of scenario.
So you're not superstitious.
Yeah, well, there's been a few times where I've had to step out of conversations. No, but we want to be ready, right? There's not a lot of turnaround time on most of this stuff. So if you waited until you had the finality of the game's over, you'd be behind for the entire way. So creatively, we've had these campaigns kind of semi-built or 3/4 of the way, 80% of the way built for days and weeks on end, and then you just kind of put the final touch on them based on what's happening in real time. Similarly with plaza activations, we've got a list of things that we want to explore and bring to life, but some of them take more time than others, and some of them are a little bit bigger of productions than others. So we have a list of things that are, okay, if we get to the Western Conference Final, we know these are the ones we're going after. If we make it further, we know these are the ones we're going after. But Game 6, as soon as that, goal horn sounded, we're sending emails, we're putting plans in action, we're sending emails to the fan base, we're sending emails to our partners in market asking how they can use our creative, if they can host us at a beach for a watch party or at a pool or wherever else it might be. So it's instant.
What do you have planned for the plaza for the Western Conference Final, or can you tell me?
We're still working on a few of those details. We love suggestions, so if fans have any suggestions, we're going to have the Revolt tattoos out there again, potentially have a couple other things that'll help you go into the game wearing all of your gold and being very golded out.
Because that's been a growing theme, like wear your gold to the game.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to be a sea of gold, the realm of golden ice, right? And so the guys are in gold. We want our fans in gold. The wackier, the shinier, the sparklier, the brighter, the better. So we're trying to find ways to help bring that to life.
The microwaves in the background. If anybody's wondering what's going on in the background, it's not anything that's beeping on me or Stephanie. It's the microwave that's going. Everybody's going full tilt right now. This is your first go around at this. Has it been stressful? Has it been fun? How would you describe it?
Oh my gosh, this is the most fun. I tell everybody, this is exactly why you grew up and want to work in sports. It's standard organized chaos, but like the other morning, getting ready, brushing my teeth, and my brain is just spinning on like all the fun things that we can do. I couldn't wait to get in here and brainstorm with our team, and we have an amazing staff here. So putting the towels out on the seats, we have people raising their hand Maria, you're one of them, raising their hand every single day asking, how can I help support whatever initiatives that you have? Our watch parties, we have, staff out there helping to pull together tables so that, fans can have places to sit. So this is incredible. This is so fun.
Have you met any celebrities wanting to come out?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Vegas is the place to be, man. We had Josh Duhamel out last round. He did the siren.
Maria likes that. Maria's the one working the microwave.
He did the siren. He brought a bunch of his buddies that he grew up with. They're all diehard hockey people. His wife played hockey in North Dakota growing up. They had a blast. But yeah, we've got a lot of celebs reaching out. We've got a lot of people that are interested in being here because this is the place to be.
Keep having fun.
Absolutely. How can you not have fun?
And I appreciate you because you're the only one that chirps in the Fantasy Football League chat.
I'm very good at chirping. Fantasy football requires that.
And that's perfect timing because here comes Maggie Sweeney, Director of Retail Operations, into the break room from the green room, which this is a very busy place, Maggie. You know all about that. But during the last conversation we had with Stephanie, the microwave was going a little bit bonkers.
I mean, people don't realize how much excitement goes on here. It's everything you could imagine.
So you are in charge. Tell me the whole scope of what you do.
Yeah, so basically anywhere that we're selling our retail and that we're involved, I'm involved. So when it comes to products that we're ordering and receiving for our store here at City National Arena, the plan and the operations for our retail components at T-Mobile Arena, online sales out in Henderson, just, everywhere that our teams are involved and interacting with fans and selling things, I'm getting involved there.
So as Vegas goes into the playoffs, you have to have stock in place for people to get excited about. Now, as the bandwagon grows, how does your job and the navigating of that process go?
As you kind of said, it's very reactive. Early on with NHL licensees and opportunities that the league gives us, it's so early on for those initial planning stages that every team in the league, has the opportunity to place an order to be ready for round one. So as you can imagine, that's very forward thinking and based on a lot of data and numbers from us and around the league, and insight from, friends around the league sharing things with each other to make sure that overall, the NHL is successful. And then we just react to things that are happening here locally and things that people are liking and wanting and talking about, or tweeting about. And we just try and bring the fans a unique and creative assortment.
What's been a hit so far?
So with post-game win activities in the locker room that people may have seen where the players are having some fun, we decided to commemorate that in a T-shirt with commemorating the wig, and it has the VGK kind of running through it and the fun sunglasses. So that post-game win celebration T-shirt has done really well for us.
So now that you're into the Western Conference Final, are you starting to plan like Western Conference paraphernalia, apparel? A Stanley Cup is a round away. When do you start going down that path, knowing that we are a very traditional sport and we don't want to put the cart before the horse too much?
Without saying too much, I'll just say that, all teams who get to a certain point, you have to work with the league and NHL licensees and those big vendors to produce things that, have the Stanley Cup image on them in any way. So I'll just say that, there's teams who aren't playing now who were prepared for the ultimate in some cases. And so, we're prepared.
Is there a hat or a shirt beyond the glasses, jerseys? Like those are all, like you've got to fulfill that stock throughout the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, jerseys are always, of course, a big seller, and our fans have really embraced wearing the jerseys to the games. So that just continues to pick up momentum, with excitement. So we're here for jerseys too, and then a lot of the, league-wide Stanley Cup participant and the locker room hats and T-shirts that the guys are wearing throughout the playoffs. Those are always really popular items as well.
We got through this without any real distractions in the break. A couple of people came in and got water. We got the fridge.
Little buzzing from the fridge, but not bad.
I honestly, at the outset of this, thought the buzzing was going to be the worst part. the soup exploding, that was a different level. And Arsenal, Armory, everywhere, right?
Oh, yeah. Everywhere. And more is coming, obviously. We're waiting on that next round of product to get in, and looking like we'll be ready for everyone on Friday, and in great shape, and have a lot of great things for people to take a look at.
Thanks for joining me today. This has been awesome.
Thank you.
Well, that was great to hear from both Stephanie and Maggie, and really gave some insight onto how some of the things behind the scenes work. And it's certain things that you take for granted, right? I mean, especially at this time of year, the Western Conference Final, Stanley Cup Final. Should your team be lucky enough to make it, you watch them on TV, you watch them on the ice, and you see them get the shirts and the hats and all the paraphernalia, as Daren was describing there, of the conference championships or the Stanley Cup championship shirt, but you never really understand how those come to be and when those come to be. And it was great to hear both Maggie and Stephanie kind of go through that process and help take us through the mindset of, okay, we do want to start planning for things beforehand, but as Daren said, you don't want to put the cart before the horse. You don't want to get superstitious. You don't want to get ahead of yourself. But in this business, things move fast, and you have to be ready for any possible outcome. And I think Stephanie and Maggie, who are amazing at their jobs, are certainly ready for any outcome, and they've been doing a great job so far in the Stanley Cup playoffs, both on the retail side and all the fun things, as you heard there, the Elvis shirts that have been selling like hotcakes, it sounds like, down at the Arsenal, and of course all the fun stuff on the plaza before the games at VGK home games at the Fortress. So great stuff by Stephanie and Maggie. Good to hear from them, and those are some of the people that, again, they make such important things happen for the VGK, things that are an essential part of the fan experience, getting merchandise, wearing the team's logos, the jerseys, the hats, the shirts, supporting the VGK, and then when you come down to the rink, you want to be able to have fun before the game. You want to have a little bit of a party before you go into the Fortress. Things that make the VGK fan experience what it is, and those two are certainly at the head of what makes the VGK fan experience go. So great to hear again from Stephanie and Maggie. And if you do want to be a part of the VGK fan experience during the Western Conference Final, well, come on down to the Fortress because a limited number of tickets are still available for the first couple of home games between the Dallas Stars and the Vegas Golden Knights for the Western Conference Final. Go to vegasgoldenknights.com for tickets to the Western Conference Final. Again, Game 1 on Friday at 5:30 Pacific Time. Game 2 at the Fortress as well at noon on Sunday. So get your tickets at vegasgoldenknights.com to come down to the Western Conference Final and cheer on the Golden Knights as they look to make their second ever appearance in the Stanley Cup Final. I'll also take a moment to remind you to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss a moment of the team's quest for the Stanley Cup right here on VGK Today. Tomorrow, Gary Lawless joins the show, and he'll update us on what's going on the ice for the VGK as they prepare for Dallas in the Western Conference Final. Justin Russo signing off for episode 31 of VGK Today, presented by MGM Rewards.